I wanted to do a screen recording on how to use the basic tools of Final Cut Pro. There are so many different things you can do with Final Cut Pro, which is why I'm only going to go through the basics, because otherwise this video would probably take over an hour. But yeah, let's start with the basic tools. I mean, as you can see here, there are like 7 different basic tools that you can use. So you can of course also use the shortcuts using the uh, using your mouse or pressing A, T, P, and so on. So for example, if you want to select, you have your mouse here, so select is also A. But if you then want to trim, you press T, which then means that you can go here and you can, for example, trim it down. So yeah, that's what you use that for. Then to position something, so to pull something behind or anything, you just click P so that you can position it. So if you have several different clips, like I'm going to show you here, for example, in our rough cut, I'm just going to use this rather than that, then you can very simply drag one clip in front of the other one so that it moves and you have it the right way. If you're doing something wrong, it's very easy to undo move. So yeah, then you have it again. So it's always very simple if you do something wrong. Besides that, you have the range selection, which is basically where you can then choose whichever bit of your clip that you want to use, because you might not want to use the entire clip, so you may just choose the bit that you actually want to use. So it's quite useful, a quite useful tool. So yeah. The next tool, as you can see here, is the blade, which is also the B note on, which is like this, so that it comes up like this, so you can cut anywhere that you want to. So once you've cut, it's divided up, and then you press A to get rid of the blade tool again, and then you can work with them separately. Very simple. Then you have the zoom, which is Z, so you can zoom in and out of the shot. You can also do it down here, so yeah. Also you have the hand, which is basically just that you can move things around, so you don't often need that, but it's still there. Yeah, a bit about that. But as for, I mean, we've used a lot of this. I mean, we've used a lot of effects. For example, as I said in my evaluation question, this is not the natural lighting of the shot. So therefore we had to go in under effects, and we had to use something which is called blue tint. I think if you type it down in here, it should come up. Color, let's think. Maybe it's just tint. Can't actually remember. Oh, there we go. So you just take it here and you drag it over to the shot that you actually want to put it on. And then it comes up even darker. And then of course up here you can adjust how much you want it to be tinted, because I mean obviously this is way too dark, so it always depends on the amount that you use, so that the shot doesn't become too dark, because otherwise it just doesn't look natural. We had some difficulties with this because we had a shot where it looked quite natural, like this one. So it was really hard to create it so that it looked like natural lighting, especially this scene. I mean, you can obviously see that it's not natural lighting, so it does not look, it does have the effect that we wanted it to, which is good, because we just wanted to create an ominous setting and everything, but I mean, it's still very, very dark. So yeah, but although, I mean, we did have the advantage that we had street lights here in the background, so that was really good. I mean, another effect we, for example, used was the one called Bad TV, So for example, that we used here in the beginning of our basement scene, because we just thought it would look good as if our final killer is actually like being filmed, as if it's everything is recorded on video. And I mean also the shaky footage that you do get here, um, like when he's looking at the board, we just thought it would be very suitable for the bad TV effect. But yeah, then you have the titles, but I'm not gonna go into that because I've done um, another screen recording of that. You obviously have the music, so you can go in, you can get your iTunes music, you can go in and get iMovie sound effects, you can get iLive sound effects, you can get all sorts of sound effects. What I, for example, did was go to a a website called FFSX Sound Effects, so that I could download all my sound effects from there. So I actually became a member of that website, and then I could download them, put them into iTunes, and then I could use these. One sound effect which I, for example, got was the door knob when the door closes. So this is a sound effect that I got. But yeah. Um, then, I mean, you obviously have themes as well using Final Cut Pro. However, we didn't really use many of these, but yeah, they're always very useful if you want to create, for example, news or something. They can look quite good. So yeah, there's also here for the introducing of the titles. If you, for example, want to have a curtain or clouds or anything. I mean, they have all different types of offers, so it's actually quite interesting to see, and I mean, it's very useful. Then, of course, you have the transitions from one to one. You have the typical cross dissolve, which we've used from, for example, the Bible in her room to, let me get that, to the church scene. So yeah, you have that bit there, which is actually this cross dissolve that we use there. So it's really useful because, I mean, specifically for this bit, it was actually able to denote how she went from one place to another, and that actually saved us quite some time because, I mean, otherwise we would have had to film her walk from the house to the church, which is actually what we didn't want to do, so therefore we used the cross dissolve. Um, yeah, I mean, there are so many different others which you can use. You can divide it up, create rule of thirds. You can fade to another color. You can, like, there are dissolves. Um, so so yeah. Um, Besides that, let me think. No, besides that, I mean, these are really the basic tools we've used. And of course, you have your library up here. And there you can put all of your different projects. So if you want to create a new project, it's just going into File, Project, typing it in, then it's going to save it. One thing I would maybe do different for next year would be to do different libraries because it got quite mixed up with all my videos. I did manage it in the end though, but I would definitely from the beginning on next year I would have it divided into libraries. Sorry. Uh, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. You can make this bigger. It doesn't necessarily have to be this small, because sometimes it's good to work with. You can crop, transform, distort. I'm not gonna go too much into that. What is a really good tool, which I'm actually gonna just show you, is that you can use this key so that you can, for example, take this one, put a key under it, say keywords for tip 47, which could, for example, be outside. Then it creates it right here, as you see. So if I put all of these under outside, they would all go into this, which would mean that I would very easily be able to find my clips again. So I did this, for example, for my idents. for the church scenes, for the basement scenes we had. So I mean, this was in general, it was just very useful because then it wasn't too difficult to find everything again. So that's really like the key is a very very useful tool that I can only recommend. For now, I think that's it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope it was helpful.